I have been told that you were studying the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and now you want me to tell you how to implement the teachings of this second chapter in our life. How do we live about? The second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is also told to be a conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, because it tells everything in a condensed form. So we must keep in mind the second chapter always in order to guide us. In the second chapter, some say it is called Sankhya Yoga. Of course, Sankhya Yoga means Sankhya Purvak. Numerical application is there. But Prabhupada would say, the contents of Bhagavad Gita summarized. That is also the name of second chapter. Krishna talks about not only Sankhya Yoga, but also Buddhi Yoga. So, if somebody knows how to count, he is said to be intelligent. But what does he count? Money? He has to count only one. Who is that one? Otherwise, he ends up counting all zeros. Without one, what will be the value? There are so many zeros, if you put before one, it doesn't bear any value. One remains one. But if you add all the zeros after one, then the value will be there. So, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nativi. There is a rule that if you take sankalpa or determination to do any vrat, tap or ordinary some austerity for the sake of welfare of the family, you put up a numerological figure that I will do fasting for 7 days or a particular day. There are numbers. But particular day means that particular significance is there, whether it is connected with the demigods or whether it is connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like why do we do Ekadashi, right? And how come Krishna put everything in numerological order? Ekadashi means 11th day. Purnamasi, that is 15th day. Like that. So when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the rule also applies. How many rounds are you going to chant? Minimum 16. Okay, then you will be qualified. Like that. No compromise. Because this is the methodology of sankalpa, which is done through our intellectual faculty, a determining factor. Determining faculty. So, second chapter is putting summarization of everything that is to be taught. Right? So, it's easy. Generally, devotees ask when somebody dies in their family, Maharaj, what should we do? I said, read second chapter and talk about it. Prabhupada gave full explanation on the second chapter. If it is done during the time of death, why not during the time of living? It makes sense, right? So therefore, we need to look into the essential aspects that Krishna describes in the second chapter. What is the first and foremost aspect that Krishna is describing? The difference between soul and the body. There's the first aspect. If body is one, there is one soul of human being. But the body is composed of many, many cells, trillions of cells, and each and every cell is said to be a living entity. So how many souls are there composing a complex body? Those who are in medicine, doctors, Mataji, you are dealing with so many cells. But these cells are called in vegetative state. They know only eating, sleeping, mating and defending. They bifurcate, all right? They produce, then keep on changing. They also die. In 7 years, every cell has to die. Then new generations. We see, oh, my child is growing. Hare Baba is going through the period of death and rebirth. At every 7 years, all of the cells of the body are going to be changed and new cells will take place. They will also live for another 7 years. In that way, if you live for 98 years, how many times you will be reincarnating? 14 times. 14 times you are going to be reborn. But we don't consider that because the soul is the same, even the body changes. Soul occupies the body. All right? So a clear-cut distinction between the soul and body has to be understood. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhada agama upayana anityam tam stitikshva bharad. You tolerate because this sense perceptions are coming and going. You are steady there. So why do you have to wear sweaters like me? Why do you have to wear sweaters? Just tolerate. But that time was Satya Yoga, not Kali Yoga. We are not going to go and hide in jungle. And that too in India and tropical countries where there are no drastic changes in the season there. But we are here in Patal Loka. Patal Loka means extremes are there. New Zealand is far Patal. I'm going there. But I'll have to wear the jackets and this and that. But anyway, those who are aware of the eternity of the soul and temporality of the body, that is the first distinction that we have to keep in mind every day. And with that premise, we can tolerate all the inconveniences as far as possible. That is called the austerity. Austerity was from the very beginning a very important factor to purify one's existence. Yajna dana tapa kriya. Tapa means austerity. Charity is austerity. You give part of your hard-earned money because ishavāsyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magrata kasyat sviddanam. You are not entitled to other properties. As far as your maintenance is concerned, you have right. You have been given your quota. Accept that. But don't usurp. There are so many instructions that a tapasvi has to perform, and by practice, he has to put into practice and show to the people, yes, that was the methodology in Satya Yuga. Tapa. Yajna was in the Treta Yuga. Dvapare Paricharyayam, in Dvapar Yuga, the Vigraha Seva was there. Dvapare Paricharyayam. Paricharya means worship of the deity in big temples. This Kali Yuga is not befitting for any temple worship. But because we are in a transit period, beginning 5,000 years of Kali Yuga only, we are hooked up. But most of the temples are in ruins and nobody wants to resurrect them. Many temples in India have been taken away by the Muslims. They put their masjid over it. These are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. The temple worship is discouraged. But we are also building temple to educate, and not only for worship. Our temples are the temples of real education, the way that they teach how to live the life. Not only in the household, but any ashram. All the 4 ashrams have to learn. But generally, like in school, the elder people think they have already learned, now they have to simply sit and think. But they will not chant Hare Krishna, so how can they think properly? That same purpose was supposed to be executed by the elder folks. But elder folks do not join Hare Krishna everywhere. They even do not go to the church. By any excuse they will refrain to go. But they should understand that the guiding principles or the lifestyle that they have to adapt in the later ages is more important. So, in the household, the elders are not cared properly. They are taunted. Why don't you go and spend your time in the temple, chant, meditate? They say, okay, we will go, we will have darshan and we'll sit on the outside benches and talk about politics, about something else other than their entire conclusion that they have to adapt in the later ages. So, you cannot teach old folks new tricks. Right? Therefore, right from the young age, in a household, they are supposed to be given this training of application of the process that has been shown by a differentiation of what we are not. We are not supposed to entertain by, say, what we call pampering process. If we pamper our children, then they will become very, very naughty, very, very lazy bums, right? Chanakya Pandit says, Lalane bahuvo dosha, tadane bahuvo guna, tasmat putram cha shishyam tadayat natu lalayat. Putram means putri also. So, this is to be understood. What is meant by tadan? Tadan doesn't mean corporal punishment, but hold them tight, shake them up, show your eyeballs. If you do like this, you will get punished by the higher authorities. I'm not going to punish you, but I'm warning you, like that. That is tadan. Otherwise, there will be a court case against you. Right? They do. Oh my God, in Australia is the worst country. I have my disciple family got ruined. Simply something that they cannot control in their life. So everybody is on their own. Anyway, Australia is worse. They will take the charge of children. Here, you are not qualified to keep your children like that. Government will take over. And government will send somewhere to, where do they send? Foster homes. They control the foster homes. In Murvilamba, one Mataji is there. She took my shelter long time back. But she had a bad background, what can you do? She was chanting, but she was getting trapped again. And she had a very beautiful baby, Bhumi. And she lost the custody. So they also played tricks. They take the children away, but some relatives or sister of the mother come and claim, please give us, we will take care of them. So they do like this. But the child loses not comfort, but shelter. Because they are not following. They have to be victimized and instant justice. But the child has not done any wrong, is innocent. So mother has to be Tarayan, or the one who is in charge. In Australian family life, we see worst cases. Father is not there, and mother bears the child. So what? It is worst case. Here there is some decency in our Indian, say, upbringing, which has some Vedic trend, responsibility. And Even though we don't agree to live together, still we take care of child. But it is not always so. Corruption of Kali Yuga is permeating so many ways in our lives that we are taken by surprise. So, instead of tolerating certain inconveniences, we try to make adjustments, replacement of anything. Instead of tolerating inconvenience, tam titikshva bharata, because they are coming and going nature. If they have come, they will also go. Meanwhile, please tolerate. It is a way of life that is positively acting in the Vedic times. In Kali Yuga, it doesn't work. But that's okay. Responsibility still lies and one cannot escape. Both the parents cannot escape. So Krishna is talking of the important aspect of tolerance. And tolerance doesn't mean okay, I will not interfere, I will tolerate. You can do whatever you want. That is not tolerance. Sense control should be that. That's called sama. Dama, mind control. Tapa, shaucham, kshantir, arjavam, evacha, jnana vijnana astikyam, brahma karma svabhavajam. These are the characteristics to be developed for an educated household. These are the virtues to be invested to make our life successful. Krishna teaches very much in detail. The soul is imperishable. Soul is imperishable. But who knows the soul? We may believe in reincarnation, but we cannot explain what is reincarnation. Even though it is happening right before our eyes, we still ignore it. Eternity of the soul is also ignored. Even though we believe, we ignore it. Then, when we are supposed to take a determined decision that will pave us for desired results, we also ignore. Such guarantees in second chapter have been given. Krishna is telling about the buddhi. Buddhi means a discriminating faculty. It is different from mind. It's different from mind. People understand buddhi means mind, but that's not true. In other chapter, I think 7th chapter, Krishna describes the composition of the body. In composition of the body. Bhumirapano vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankaram itiyame binna prakriti ashtata aparemitastanvyan prakriti viddhi me para jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. These are my separated energy. Krishna claims these are his energy. So, if these energies we are dealing, even in entrepreneurship, we have to understand that these energies have been made by Krishna. What to speak of? Besides this eightfold inferior energy, there is a superior energy which is called Jiva. Bhuta means occupying this particular body. Mahabaho is an address to Arjuna. Yaya idam dharyate jagat, by which the whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded. So who makes the cosmic manifestations? Material body or material pool and spiritual body, that's spiritual pool. The material aspect is temporary while the spiritual is permanent. That little soul is so much powerful, so much powerful that it holds, it sustains the entire cosmic manifestation. Responsibility. So, from little microcosm to macrocosm, like a gigantic universe sitting in the corner of a nebula. You see, permeability of the soul is everywhere. The soul is called Sarvatraga. If you don't find life, because you can't see through your naked eye, it doesn't mean it is not existing. We have limited senses. What do we have? Other defect. Limited senses. Imperfect senses. Then becoming illusioned and cheating. 4 defects everybody has, more or less. Nobody can say, I'm perfect. So, even in the realm of imperfection, our aspiration is to become perfect or successful. But we do not know who is perfect and why we are imperfect. Krishna is perfect. The one who gives the advice is perfect and complete. What's that verse? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is perfect and complete, from whom everything that emanates is also perfect and complete. Even after producing so many perfect and complete units, he still remains perfect and complete. That is the definition of... But we are, even though created in perfection of Krishna, we make ourselves imperfect because we love imperfections. We are excuse mongers. Why are you late today? Oh, I have something more important. But it is all a fake story. Did you chant your rounds? What is the reason? I was too busy. Imperfections. We bring imperfection as an excuse. Oh, to err is human. But then, to forgive is divine. Whom should we blame for forgiveness? Blame. Whom should we blame? Who is divine? Divinity is to be understood. We do not know who is divine. Krishna says, I am divine. So if you want to know me, you become divine. You are my sample. You have the same quality as I have. So these are the applications we have to put in our life, fixed, because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, he is qualitatively one, but quantitative difference. He is dependent, but he should not depend upon the material Maic energy. Rather, Krishna's own internal potency, because these are his qualifications. So, utilize your buddhi. So, buddhi yoga, an analytical study of the elements that constitute the body, that we can understand, but you can go further for the divine characteristics, that is cultivated through buddhi yoga. Buddhi is a discriminating faculty of what is sat and what is asat, what is eternal and what is temporary. Krishna gives in 2nd chapter the definition of this, what is real and what is temporary. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate asat, ubhayor api drashtuvanta tattvadarshibhi. The seekers of truth know that for the real there is no cessation, and for the unreal there is no endurance. Simple. So are we living a life worthy enough to be real? Or we are hankering after temporary things and temporary changes, and then we make our mind satisfy. This is it. This is, after all, we have to survive. That survival is a temporary thing. How much can you survive? How much? Prabhupada came to Melbourne to install Mahaprabhu, Melbourne Mahaprabhu deities, and he gave a class in Avalon Ballroom, all right, which was facing the sea. Then some topic about the disaster was being discussed. And Prabhupada all of a sudden said, this is way in 1970s, when he came, I think in 75. Prabhupada said, one tsunami is enough to destroy the whole Melbourne city. You do not know the power of material nature. And soon after that, in 80s, or late 80s, towards 90s, there was a big tsunami in Japan occurred, and the tsunami became famous, a wholesale destroyer. Now tsunami comes so frequent. It happened that some island in Indonesia under the sea got shook up and created tsunami that came all the way to the southern coast, about Chennai and in Bay of Bengal, and destroyed so many things. Our senses are imperfect, but the animals, they notice. They have sonar and radar built in. Their sense perception is higher. So they are more intelligent than human being. They escaped, and human beings were trapped, and they perished in thousands. Of course, nobody has sense of silence or peaceful situation after disaster, because it rings always in their ear. So the best process is to feed them prasadam. So our devotees go, feed prasadam, make them chant Hare Krishna. Those who are pious, they take up the process. Similar thing happened in Gujarat in 1980s. A big earthquake in Kutch happened. Thousands perished. And such uncontrollable situations, the Mother Nature cannot be given protection, right? We have three kinds of miseries: Adhyati, Adibhautik, and Adidaivik. We impose miseries on our own selves because of imperfect senses. That is Adhyatmik. Adibhautik means imposed by somebody else. Imposed by somebody, the third party would be called. Even a mosquito can become third party to inflict malaria on you. And the big natural calamities like tsunami, earthquakes, and flood, and uncontrollable. Even Mumbai gets flooded every, rainy season. So, however, we are so much troubled, yet we aspire for happiness. So where do we look for? Bollywood. To escape the miseries, go to Bollywood. Film industry. There also, so much misery is inflicted by jealousy, corruption, and so forth and so on. Where do you have peace of mind? No. So utilize Buddhi Yoga, Krishna says. So those who are fixed in their intelligence to meditate on Lord Shri Krishna, how do they act? Those whose intelligence is fixed on the Supreme, took refuge on Him and make his life perfect. This is the function of a pious person, to instill that system in his household. Not as an escape method, but rather it is counteracting the miseries of misunderstanding. Because there are no maybes, there are no uncertainties given. The result is secured. But we have to cultivate that faith and practice to realize that. So pious families were able to keep that Buddhi Yoga in command. So Arjuna says, yes, I understand, but can you give me some symptoms of those who are in the steady intelligence? Steady intelligence. Sthita pragrasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthita dim kim prapasheta kim asita brajeta kim. People again use their little brain to say that sthita prajna means he is a completely docile person. He sits in a corner, keeps himself aloof from the happenings around him, and try to meditate. Baba, this is not the time for meditation. Meditation was in Satya Yuga. This is Kali Yuga. But yet Arjuna is asking, whom do you call with a steady intelligence? Means fixed intelligence, and the resolve that what you have said is perfectly practicable. So his question is, what is the definition of sthita prajna? And those who are situated in samadhi, how do they walk and how do they talk? How do they walk? They must be only sitting at one place. That is not samadhi. Intellectual application is bringing samadhi. Sama means equal, D means intelligence. How do we fix our intelligence on these teachings of Bhagavad Gita? So, samadhi can be obtained during walking and talking also. But what do you walk? And not how do you walk. What do you walk for? And how do you talk? Or what do you talk of? Talk of Krishna and walk for Krishna. Go to the temple. Have him the target. And so person is equally disposed on the holy name and worshipping Krishna. That is the best of the samadhis. There is no controversy. In a controversial activity, samadhi cannot be achieved. So Arjuna is asking, my dear Krishna, if you say the intelligence is better, then can you tell me the perfected being who is steady in the intelligence? How do we recognize him? What is the definition of samadhi? Sthita dhi. Sthita means steady. Dhi means intelligence. So those who are in samadhi must be intelligent people. Can't we stay samadhi in household? Why not? We should develop steady intelligence of the teachings of the second chapter. You are not the body. You are soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. Therefore, you have no reason to lament for anybody. Only thing you have to gain the knowledge of reality of yourself. Everything is not important. This can be developed as a discriminating intelligence. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate asa, only in human form of life. Go for eternal. Why do you waste your life again for temporary things? Tattvadarshi means seekers of the truth. You are not fake people. Why do you live fake life then? That is second chapter. We have to improve on this and make up our mind, make up our lifestyle exemplary for others too. You achieve, show the result, and make others do. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant and be happy. Simplest cardinal truth. Experience it. Those who talk of daily or Gramya Katha, their tongues are compared to the tongues of frog. Dr. Frog in the well, you know the story. Dr. Frog. His talking will invite its own demise. Because that is the limit of his experience knowledge. The world is so big, and the world is becoming so much in tune to develop number 4th creation. Original creation of 24 elements is done by Lord Krishna himself before creating other complicated things. The secondary creation called Visarga was done by Brahma. Utilized the methodology of permutation and combination of all the elements and made 84 million species of life. The tertiary, the third degree of creation, creativity, was done by the demigods when they are given charge to manage the material affairs. And human being is number 4th creator. But he is creating from already created 3 times before him. So what's the big deal? And yet he wants copyrights. Yet he wants copyrights. He is a cheater, number 1. But ultimately, Krishna is the original copyright. Right? So he claims. He claims everything back. Means creation, sustenance, destruction is in his hand. We are not subjugated to creation, sustenance and destruction if we become Krishna conscious. We are transported through sublime process. Yesterday we gave the definition of sublimation, right? Means to change from the solid state to gaseous state without going through liquid state. Chemistry people. So it's called sublimation process. So sublime means transported to another realm without necessarily going into change. If you chant, you become happy. That is guaranteed. But experience the sublimation process. That is called transend. Transend. Transport yourself from one state to the supreme state, base state to supreme state, without going through vaya. That is to be applied in household life. Apply the second chapter, read every day, and thank Krishna every day. He spoke this. No avatar, no incarnation, no personalities, however great, ever spoke this truth, which is called Bhagavad Gita. Nobody spoke even in Bible. Nobody claimed that you are my part and parcel. Even Lord Shiva or Brahma cannot claim that we are his part and parcel. No. What to speak of three Vishnus? We don't want them to fight. But they are all expansions of Krishna. So, Ekale Ishwar Krishna are sabhi bhratya. Jahara ichha habe tabet nachaye nritya. He is the original one that he makes us dance. So is it time to dance now? Chant and dance? Yes? Question answer. Oh, let your tongue dance first.
Anyway, you can raise it.
Just raise your hands and I'll pass the mic.
Maharajji, we want to hear about the Dr. Frog story. Dr. Frog story.
Dr. Frog story.
Yes.
Our children know better than me. Dr. Frog, Prabhupada explains, Kupamanduk Dasha. He was living in a little well, Kupa, and Manduk means frog, the frog in the well. And that's a story in Aesop's fables. So we see that this Dr. Frog, he was happy by estimating his surrounding, which is a small well. So he thinks this is his world. One time one visitor came, him another frog, but he was coming from Atlantic Ocean. So they acknowledge each other. But Dr. Frog in the well did not know Atlantic Ocean. So he will tell it is so humongous, so big, there is no measure for it. But our Dr. Frog want to estimate the measurement. So he puffed up his cheeks and make a balloon out of it. Is it this much? Is it this much? Because that is his limitation to measure it. Says, no, much bigger, much bigger. And he finally busted out and died. So Our scientists are also like that. I'm sorry if there is any scientist. I was one, so he's not alone. All right? So, Prabhupada criticized that they have limited brain substance and they think they will measure the immeasurable. Generally, I tell the real story of, super hydrogen collider in Geneva in France. You heard it, right? God particle. Can you tell, please?
We now call it the God particle.
Huh? God particle. Higgs boson. Tell. You are also a scientist. Who knows? I told many times, not here, of course. In late 70s, before the theory of anti-particle theory, what we call, came into existence, that was in about 1958-59. Two American scientists got Nobel Prize to postulate that there exists an anti-particle which has completely opposite characteristics than a particle. All right? They were calling it anti-particle. Srila Prabhupada in 1959 wrote a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. And the very first article he published, that was in newspaper, Times of India, and he put up that the two scientists got Nobel Prize for postulating this. It's only theory, but they did not prove it yet. But yet they got that there exists an anti-particle. Prabhupada said, we agree. Therefore, there must be an anti-particular world. Prabhupada says, yes, we also agree that. Prabhupada was also a scientist. But the third proposition they gave, that in given time and place, if both the particular world and anti-particular world come together, there will be big explosion and complete devastation. Prabhupada said, we do not agree to this. Then he starts explaining in that book. It is available. Easy Journey to Other Planets. That is the meditation. How do you transport yourself from your home to Goloka? That was in 59-60. So American scientists wanted something practical to be done. So they created a 10-mile radius underground tunnel about, say, 5 kilometers down, and south of Dallas, Texas, they created. But something they could not control, so the whole experiment was abandoned. The place is still existing. The town, it is called Waxahachie, and I go pass through every year. And I salute those failed scientists. So, about 12 years back, many scientists joined, including about 250 Indian scientists, also physicists, mastermind, because during that time they had more research and named the particle called Higgs boson or God particle. God particle. And they wanted to explore more. right? So they made a 25-mile radius, about 10 kilometers under the earth. Big tunnel, all right? And they put about on 3 sides super hadron colliders. What is a hadron? Collider means they shoot electrons at such a high speed of magnetic field that is created by the hadron colliders. And then because the several terabyte speed of photography was also developed specially for catching a photograph of an antiparticle when it splits. So they estimated like that. They were preparing for a big experiment. It was worldwide publicized. All of a sudden, the experimental fission created so much energy that they have to install helium chambers to cool off around it. Again they were ready because they were bent upon this time we are going to catch Higgs boson. Satyendranath Basu and Professor Higgs postulated this particle, and they in common term called God particle. So this is located between the boundary of France and Geneva and Switzerland. If you go to the reception or go to the Google, guys, go Google it, Super Hadron Collider, and show something. They have kept God of Death, Lord Shiva, who is Nataraj, dancing, and there is somebody lying underneath. So it's a 20-foot high circular ring of Lord Shiva, Nataraj, they call it. And it is still existing. So about 12 years back, they set up a date, and the whole world has eye on them. And really, they took photograph after, and they captured something. But it is not one particle, it's multiple particles. So they got baffled. Oh my God, how many Higgs bosons are there? God is one. There cannot be too many. So they got frustrated. They can't explain. After 12 years, it was lying useless. It got corroded, and billions of dollars have been wasted again. This is Dr. Frog. All right? Did you get anything? Kids, did you get article? You go, Google. Do it quickly. It's on your fingertip. Pat, 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 pat. What's your favorite program? That she will do within less than half a minute. You got it? Let me see.
Right hand.
Large Hadron Collider, topics by the Worldwide Science Organization. Where is the photograph? You can show, circulate them. Make sure they do not steal your camera. Oh, you got it. Show them. I have seen 100 times. Better see Lord Shiva and pray him. They call his the god of death. Anyway, I was not bluffing. That's the story of Dr. Frog. Any other question?
From childhood, I have a very fundamental question, and it could not be answered. So, it is something like that we have like Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Yeah? So, it is considered that the earth evolution has happened with the different incarnation or avatars of the Vishnu. Yeah? And Krishna was one of them. So my question that keeps clicking in my mind, we say Krishna is the supreme, okay? Whereas I have found that it is the Vishnu's avatar that taken place on the earth for the different times to show the path of the religion and for setting up the civilization. So when Krishna says in the Gita that I am the supreme, come to me, so it means it is Vishnu who is saying come to me, or Krishna is different from the Vishnu who is saying come to me. So this question I could not, I want to have some clarity on this.
Is there any difference between you and your expansions?
No.
Then why do you want to differentiate between Krishna and Vishnu?
I just want to know who is Parameshwar.
That's why you have to study, and ISKCON is bound to teach you that. You will never go dissatisfied. Because it's a systematic study. You know, when Krishna claims and nobody has ever claimed, then it is the duty of his devotees to prove it on behalf of him. That's the greatest service you will be able to render. So learn it systematically. Actually, Vaikuntha, there are 24 Vaikunthas and there are 24 Vishnus there. Shastra does not lie, but our brain is small and with a puny understanding, and there is no systematic teaching ever being given. But in Gurukul it was given before. Now if we are not getting such the fundamental, instructions or teachings in the school, then it is, we are at disadvantage, and people are becoming completely corrupt of their reality. So after some time, when the puzzles have to be solved, then just like you, we inquire. However, the inquiry should be developed with a very great patience, because the system is not complicated, our mind is complicated. So partial understanding can make more harm than complete understanding. So Srila Prabhupada brought this system of education that it is International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not God Consciousness. All right? Krishna claims and we have to prove how he is. It is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought this system and who directed his disciples, the 6 Goswamis, to predeciously write the bhakti process books. All right? Otherwise, people were thinking bhakti is one of the way, but there is no guidance required. Manachanga to katharot me ganga. And we were never educated. So this is the fundamental questions and we need to answer you. And it is not a short answer. Have patience and you will learn.
Thank you.
And I bless you that you will be satisfying your thing. It's the right question. But answer will be long and you will be hungry.